Welcome. In this video, where is the direction of Xcn coin in the long term? We will analyze it. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and please watch to the end to understand. When we closely examine the chart, we can clearly see that the price movements have been forming within three distinct channel structures. These channels indicate that market dynamics have been functioning in a very orderly manner and in accordance with technical analysis principles. Each of the three channels has operated quite effectively within itself, with the price reacting to the boundaries of these channels at regular intervals. The fact that support and resistance areas coincide with the lines of these channels shows that the market continues to respect technical levels strongly. Currently, the price has reached the upper boundary of the middle channel, the second one. As it approaches this area, we observe the price slowing down and encountering some resistance. Upper boundaries always act as psychological resistance zones. These are levels where investors tend to take profits and new buyers proceed with caution. However, the current price movement is approaching this upper band with notable strength, and it appears to be applying significant pressure to break through it. If the price successfully breaks the upper boundary of this middle channel, a new upward wave could be triggered. This is because channel breakouts typically indicate a strengthening of the current trend and signal a transition into a higher structural level. In this case, we can expect the price to move into the upper channel, the third and broader structure. Moving into the upper channel means that the price will now fluctuate between higher support and resistance levels, which implies a wider price range and thus greater opportunities. At the same time, the clear effectiveness of these channel structures serves as both an advantage and a warning for investors. It's an advantage because knowing that the price is moving within certain boundaries makes it easier to develop strategies. Especially in such structures, strategies based on buying at support and selling at resistance tend to work very efficiently. However, it's also important not to become overly reliant on these formations. Markets are always dynamic, and especially during breakouts above or below channels, rapid directional changes can occur. Returning to the current price action, monitoring candlestick closes around this upper boundary of the middle channel is critically important. If we see daily closes above this level with strong volume, it will confirm that buyers are gaining confidence in the market. Otherwise, if we observe weak closes or rejections at this level, we must also consider the possibility of the price pulling back toward the mid-range of the channel. In summary, the triple channel structure we observe on the chart demonstrates that price movements are progressing in a highly systematic manner and that technical levels are largely being respected. We are currently at a key threshold. The price is exerting strong effort to break through the upper resistance of the middle channel. If this barrier is surpassed, the market's momentum will likely increase, and with a transition to the upper channel, new target levels will come into play. But we should not rely solely on channels and must consider other metrics as well. Stay tuned. When we closely examine past price movements on the chart, we can see the emergence of a rather striking pattern. In particular, a clearly defined double top formation from a previous time period stands out. This formation occurs when prices reach a certain level and then face selling pressure that leads to a pullback, followed by a recovery that brings the price back to similar levels, where it once again encounters resistance. It is generally regarded as a signal of a potential trend reversal and is taken seriously by experienced investors. Looking at the previous structure, we can observe that after forming the first top, the price experienced a notable sell-off, entered a significant correction phase, and then buyers stepped back in to push the price upward once more. The second upward movement occurred with weaker momentum compared to the first, and subsequently, the expected breakdown took place, completing the formation. This pattern indicated that market participants were heavily inclined to sell at a specific price level, making that area a strong resistance point. Now, in the current context, we're seeing signs that a similar scenario could be unfolding again. The price is climbing back toward previous peak levels and is now approaching areas that had served as key resistance in the past. This raises the question, are we seeing the formation of a second top? If the price stalls here, loses momentum, and faces selling pressure, it would support the idea that a second top is forming. Double top formations are highly significant in technical analysis because they typically indicate that a trend may be ending or that a serious correction might be on the horizon. The validity of the formation increases if there is a clear rejection at the level of the second top. Even more importantly, if the neckline, the support area between the two tops, is broken, selling pressure tends to intensify, and the likelihood of a deeper retracement grows. At this critical stage in the current chart, where the potential for a second top is developing, It's essential to watch not just the price action, but also trading volume. In classic double-top formations, the rise toward the second peak is often accompanied by a noticeable decline in volume. This suggests that buyers are not as strong as before, while sellers are lying in wait. If a similar drop in volume is observed during the current rise, it would serve as an additional signal supporting the formation. That said, it's important to note that not every double-top attempt ends in a sell-off. In some cases, after forming the second peak, the price may break through the resistance level with strong volume support and initiate a new upward trend. Therefore, rather than relying solely on the expectation of a formation, it's crucial to observe how the price behaves at the resistance area. A breakout accompanied by strong volume would open the door for a bullish scenario. In summary, the clear double-top pattern observed in the past chart structure might be repeating itself now. The possibility of a second peak forming is growing by the day, and the technical outlook is providing signals in that direction. However, the most prudent approach is to observe how the price reacts at these critical resistance levels before drawing any conclusions. At this stage, investors should be prepared for both upward and downward scenarios, manage risk appropriately, and continue analyzing the chart without becoming overly optimistic or pessimistic. Patience is key in confirming the formation of a second top. When we closely examine the chart right now, we can clearly see that the price has moved above the 200 EMA. This is a highly significant development in technical analysis because the 200 EMA is one of the most critical averages that indicate the long-term trend direction of the market. Generally, if the price is trading above the 200 EMA, the market is considered to be in a bullish zone, and if it's trading below it, the market is viewed as being in a bearish zone. Therefore, the price moving above this level is interpreted as a strong signal of a potential trend reversal. Looking back at past chart movements, we can see that whenever the price moved above the 200 EMA, a significant upward move followed. In particular, in previous examples, after breaking above the 200 EMA, a strong wave of buyers stepped in, and the price created a healthy uptrend by forming consecutive higher highs and higher lows. This clearly demonstrates how investor psychology shifts in relation to the 200 EMA. Closes above the 200 EMA instill confidence and increase the appetite for buying. The current situation is painting a very similar picture. The price has broken above the 200 EMA and is now trying to hold above this level. One of the most important aspects to pay attention to in such moves is whether the price can remain above the 200 EMA. It's not enough for the price to simply wick above it or close above it briefly. Instead, several days of sustained closes above the 200 EMA are needed to confirm whether this breakout is truly a signal of trend change. If the price succeeds in consolidating above this level, it could open the door for stronger upward moves in the coming period. In addition, when we look at past price actions where the price managed to stay above the 200 EMA, we typically see an acceleration in price movement. Initially, there are small upward moves, followed by bigger jumps as momentum builds. In other words, being above the 200 EMA serves merely as a starting point, and the real movement deepens as confidence grows around this level. If the same scenario plays out again, it's possible that the price could begin a serious rally from current levels. Major investors and algorithmic trading systems in particular place significant importance on the 200 EMA. Often these types of participants increase their positions or open new ones when the 200 EMA is broken to the upside. Naturally, this leads to strengthened buying pressure in the market. In the current chart, the slight increase in volume observed after the price moved above the 200 EMA indicates that this sentiment is beginning to take hold. However, there's another important detail that should not be overlooked. After moving above the 200 EMA, short-term profit-taking can sometimes occur. This is due to investors behaving cautiously because of past declines they may have experienced. Yes, friends, I hope you liked the video. If you subscribe to my channel and like the video, more videos will be coming. Be careful in your investments, analyze the risks correctly, and always take strategic steps. I will be with you with different analyses, investment opportunities, and technical information in my videos. I wish you all a lot of profit. See you soon.